Right then, large, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again, another Arsenal show, another Arsenal episode. We're going to be diving into lots of stories around the club. Alexander Isak in London. But the big question there is he there to complete the Arsenal transfer? Is he there to complete the Arsenal move? Or a couple of other reasons have been cited as to why he was cited in London. We're going to be diving into that, but also there is an agreement between Arsenal and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now that looks like is very, very close. Nketiah is also very, very close to moving out of the club. Arsenal could be getting in a striker, provided those two leave. We're going to be diving into that. And the central midfield situation, Douglas Luiz, there are reports that an unknown Premier League club believed to be Arsenal has made a bid for Douglas Luiz. At the moment, there is nothing confirmed between the two clubs, but of course we are still tracking and trying to see what's going to happen in the dying days of the window. So lots of talk, lots of stories to dive into. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. Make sure you also get yourself involved in the chat. Let me know what you think about these stories. Let me know what you think about these rumors really flying around. Do you think Arsenal will bring in anyone by the end of the window? Because it is really warming up. It is really actually heating up as we enter the dying days, the dying hours. Actually, we are already in the dying days, but as we enter the dying hours of the transfer window, it is becoming very, very massive. Right. So let's start off with what is happening in terms of Arsenal's chase for a new striker, and that is lots of talk around Alexander Isak. Of course, we had that report from the Athletic earlier on, and ESPN as well confirming the same story. The Arsenal were preparing to go for Jonathan David, but it looks like that deal won't be happening anytime. So what's going to be happening? Or what is rumored to be happening at the moment is Arsenal are really trying to get Alexander Isak. They would love to trigger the £77 million release clause of Alexander Isak in the dying days. Now, Isak is in London. That is true, honestly. And if you look at the headline of the video, I hope I've not really misled you into anything. I mean, it's kind of that kind of question mark. Is Isak in London to complete this Arsenal deal? So he is in London, spotted in London, according to the information I have, with Adnan Januzaj. Now, there is a big debate. There is a really big debate on why he was seen in London. And the first reports that actually came out, reported that Alexander Isak was in London to complete an Arsenal transfer. However, no information as time went on. The information that was coming out was Alexander Isak is actually in London for a vacation. Not really because he's there to complete an Arsenal transfer, but he was there on a vacation. He was there on a holiday with Adnan Januzaj. However, like I've said, there are talks there between clubs, Arsenal and other clubs for Eddie and Nketiah. There are also talks between Arsenal and, FC Barcelona. We'll talk about that kind of agreement that has been reported today by the media. An agreement reached between the two clubs, Barcelona and Arsenal, for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So, look, I think Isak. I mean, I don't want to get Arsenal fans really excited. I'm not the kind of type that would come out and say Isak is going to be joining Arsenal and blah blah blah. But I think if Arsenal are going to do anything in this window in regards to a striker, it's got to be, Alexander Isak. There is no other player that Arsenal will be able to bring in. It's going to be Alexander Isak, and for me, there is no question about it. There is no, there are no other ways about it. It's going to be Alexander Isak. If you look at the other strikers we've been looking at, Arthur Cabral has joined Fiorentina, shirt number 9, has signed done deal and confirmed agreement in place. So he's going to be replacing Dusan Vlahovic. And if you look at the rest of the strikers that we want, they're very, very difficult deals. So in the end, I think whether we want it or not, the Arsenal should and will be trying to get that man in, in himself, Alexander Isak. But £77 million, Are we gonna pay that really? I mean, I'm a little bit scared. I mean, I'm really a little bit scared about the price tag. Should we rethink about bringing in Isak? Many fans really love him. And I love him as well because I think he has great potential. He's a very good young player with potential. Is he that kind of goal poacher that Arsenal need at the moment? I do not think so. Is he that kind of player that is gonna consistently give you goals? We've talked about Alexander Isak on 99 Sport, and my thoughts are very clear. I will re-echo them here. I don't think Isak is the player that takes Arsenal to the Champions League. I think just like other players around him, he's just potential. He's just a potential talent that can actually do well in the future. But for us to actually believe that they can go to the Champions League through Alexander Isak, I don't see that happen. But of course, lads, honestly, that story has been moving around, jumping around all over the internet. Alexander Isak, there in London. Of course, the reason, like I've said, not yet 100% verified. Is it because of a transfer? A couple of big reports coming in. Saying it is because of a transfer, and a couple of other reports also coming in and saying, look, it's not because of a transfer, it is only because he's actually there for a holiday. So let's wait and see. It is the clock is ticking. Arsenal know they need a striker, whether Aubameyang stays or not. We need a striker, so let's wait and see what's going to happen out of that. Moving on, Nketiah, a couple of bids have been rejected by Arsenal from West Ham. 2 bids, today have been rejected by Arsenal from West Ham. West Ham have really looked to bring in, Nketiah. They've tried, everything. It's been a long time, actually. Them trying to push for that move. I think last January, last summer, they've been doing whatever they can to bring in the player, but it just seems he's not the kind of guy they will sign. Yes, I mean, he would love to join them, and I also feel like Arsenal would love to sell him, but I don't know why this still just doesn't happen. I don't know why it doesn't happen. So 2 bids have been turned down by Arsenal. So West Ham, they'll either need to make a fresh bid for the player, or if not, then they'll have to probably go back and try to sign him in the upcoming summers or in the upcoming windows. At the moment, he's going to be a free agent in the summer. They could try to do that unless they bring in another bid. Newcastle was believed to be very close to signing in the player. That deal at the moment doesn't. I'm not really receiving any information around that. But what I can confirm is that Newcastle were very close to signing him. Deals are talks were progressing on very well, according to the Telegraph. I do not know where that deal really got stuck. I can't really say where that deal really got stuck. But Nketiah to West Ham, 2 bids rejected by Arsenal. I don't know what Arsenal are trying to do, because honestly, if we want to bring in a striker, then we need to create the room. We need to create the space. I think Alexander Lacazette and a new striker would work very well until the summer. I think that is what Arsenal should do. I've always thought that would have been that kind of that piece of sensible transfer. But keeping Eddie Nketiah around, I don't know what Mikel Arteta is trying to do with that. But West Ham really need him. Of course, in the other stories that are around the club, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is believed. It is believed that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wants to go to Barcelona, and there is an agreement between Arsenal and AFC Barcelona for the player. However, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, information coming out of Transfer Reliable is actually showing that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been offered a very healthy contract, a very healthy proposal from Al Hilal. One in which he will be actually he will be actually given that kind of 12-month break. So what is happening? Yesterday, Arsenal and Barcelona were in talks. Again, Juve were also interested in the player. It was believed that Alvaro Morata was offered to Arsenal in that kind of transfer negotiations and things like that. But today, reports are showing that Arsenal really have an agreement between them and Barcelona for the player to join them until the rest of the season. He didn't join us in Dubai for that kind of warm training. So that means, for me, it's over between Arsenal and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's really over. It's done. I don't see any future. I don't see anything new. I don't believe there is really going to be anything new. Probably Arteta bringing him back in the squad, like many fans have suggested. I don't see that coming in. So what I think is going to happen with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he's gonna go. In this January, he's got to go and he's gonna go. So Barcelona are reportedly, have been reportedly, have reportedly found an agreement with Arsenal. That is not again 100%, sure, because if you look at the information that has actually just come out, if we look at it, it just shows that Al Hilal have made an offer. A final offer for to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So maybe it's a deal that is actually not over yet, right? Maybe it's a deal that is actually not over yet. But of course, I'll keep you posted with whatever happens in that regard. In terms of getting in a midfielder as well, Arsenal have been linked again to Douglas Luiz, with the reports actually coming in that Arsenal could have made a bid, for Douglas Luiz, today. Now, the report actually says that a club has made a bid for Douglas Luiz. A Premier League club has made a bid for Douglas Luiz. However, that club is not yet identified. Many sources claiming that club is believed to be Arsenal Football Club. Of course, we know. With all the information that has been coming up, we know that the player is for sale. Brighton, not Brighton, but Aston Villa will be listening to offers for the player. That information has already come out, and we've greatly spoken about it. And what I believe so is I don't feel they will sell him in January. Really, I didn't feel they would really sell him in January, but reports today indicated that Aston Villa will be listening to offers. Of course, we know that they want Rodrigo Bentancur from Juve. Juve are willing to listen to offers as well. So maybe if Bentancur comes in and Douglas Luiz goes out, maybe that that could be the kind of relationship. But today, reports showed that they are willing to listen to offers. However, we also know that some background information showed that they rejected bids around £30 million for Douglas Luiz from a club which is not Arsenal, a Premier League club which is not Arsenal. So Douglas Luiz still very, very much in the news. One deal that I wouldn't really keep an eye on, because I just feel like it's very, very far away from happening. But let's wait and see what's going to happen out of that. Bissouma has been spoken about as well today with the Mirror, reporting that Yves Bissouma and Brighton will be listening to offers. Brighton will be listening to offers for Yves Bissouma, and it should be around 50 million. Of course, I think for the Mirror, they're honestly just desperate. I don't see this as a deal that is really even going to happen. I don't see this as a deal that we will do. I don't think Arsenal will go for Yves Bissouma in January. Yes, we are desperate. They're trying to take advantage of that. You understand where the sources are coming from. You understand where the rumors are really coming from. But for Yves Bissouma, for me, in this January transfer window, difficult deal to do. We know we want the player, but if you look at the quality and caliber of other players that Arsenal have been linked with, and the players that we've actually tried to sign, Bissouma is not that man. Honestly, Bissouma is not, in that caliber of players that we have been trying to sign. But the interesting part about this one is Arsenal have always had Yves Bissouma. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal have always had Yves Bissouma on their transfer list. We've always had Yves Bissouma on our transfer shortlist. So maybe, maybe one deal to keep an eye on in the summer, but in January, I doubt Brighton will want to weaken themselves. It's one of those deals where Arsenal will be, linked, but I don't think we will really take action. I don't feel we will really, come out and take action in this deal. Probably yes, probably no. I'll be rating, and I'll be very, very, very eager to see what comes in out of that. Alvaro Morata today as well. Links from the Metro. I've seen the Metro. There's so many publications that have really written around Alvaro Morata to Arsenal, but I've seen the Metro, and they've been reporting that Alvaro Morata has been offered to 3 Premier League clubs, including Arsenal. Now, the other 2, I do not know, because I read the article. Trust me, I read the whole article. I didn't get the other 2 clubs, but according to the Metro, because for them, what they said is Arsenal are one of the 3 Premier League clubs that have been offered the chance to sign ex-Chelsea player Alvaro Morata. And I think after signing in Dusan Vlahovic, Juve will be looking to get rid of Alvaro Morata. We know Barcelona wanted him, but looks like Barcelona are in that kind of very, very difficult situation. The wages, things like that. So, and if they're going to sign Aubameyang, then they won't need Alvaro Morata. But can Alvaro Morata work for Arsenal? Very, very great player in terms of hold-up play. Very great player in terms of, that kind of teamwork, that kind of role that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang does. I feel Lacazette, I think because of the energy, because of the build that Lacazette has, he really does it better. But Alvaro Morata has got the skill set to do it. Alvaro Morata, do I want him to at Arsenal? Yes, he's a very, very good hold-up striker. We do appreciate. No, I don't need him anywhere close to this Arsenal side. He's one of those where I'll be like, well done, mate, but I wouldn't take you at Arsenal. And definitely, lads, I wouldn't really take Alvaro Morata to Arsenal, because look, it's a deal, right? It's a deal that many people will be thinking about and be like, maybe yes, maybe no. Can it work? Can it not work? For me, it can't work. And I know I'm being very, very negative here, but it can't work. If you're looking at unless Arsenal are trying to just bring in players for fun, bring in players just for the sake of pleasing the fans that we brought in someone. But if we are really interested, and this is the point, if we are really interested in bringing in players to chase the top for race, I don't see. I really don't see how Alvaro Morata helps us. And that's why I think this window, we've really been absolutely disgusting. Bruno Guimaraes, reportedly, he was not available for transfer for the January transfer window by Romano. The same Romano has said Newcastle have agreed a deal to sign Bruno midfielder Guimaraes, Dante. So you can see that Arsenal could have done that deal. Dennis Zakaria, Juve are working to finalize that deal. So Zakaria was available. Bruno Guimaraes was available, and we didn't go for those deals. So for me, lads, despite the fact that Arsenal is struggling in terms of transfers, we shouldn't actually bring in anyone. Alvaro Morata off for me. As no two ways about it, it's off for me. Right? For me, Alvaro Morata, lads, it's off. I know some people would want him at Arsenal. Some people maybe do trust him. I don't. Personally, I do not. I mean, the amount of chances he misses, the number of times you're going to find him and catch him offside is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't think Arsenal should be going in for that deal. And it's one where we don't need to get close to it. If you want an update on Arthur Melo, today, this morning, it's been reported that deal has actually collapsed. That is according to Romano and Gianluca Di Marzio. That deal for Arthur Melo has collapsed. Talks have been ongoing with Juve. However, we have failed to meet the they're not really prerequisites, but let's say conditions, right? Let's just say conditions that have been set by Juve. We have failed to meet them, and we cannot sign the player. So the feeling around that deal is that it has collapsed. That is the feeling around that there. Ruben Neves, talks were reported yesterday. The Arsenal had open talks with the players' agent. There is nothing more to that today, Arsenal, and that shows you that there are no talks really between Arsenal and Ruben Neves today. That story, there is nothing more. Absolutely nothing more. So in terms of today's links, I'm done. I mean, how many minutes did I use to complete the cycle? That's it, lads. Isak in London, that is the huge update. Not really 100% confirmed to complete the transfer or to do medicals. He's there for a couple of reasons, as I have highlighted. But let us wait and see what's going to happen in the dying days and dying hours of the transfer window. Right here on Cossy's Arsenal podcast, I'll be really, really, happy to let you know. Joe says, "Hi guys, I'm from Uganda. We need 2 players, CM and CF. I mean, if you consider the amount of time we are left with, you've got to be skeptical. Really, you've got to be very, very skeptical. Can it work? Can it happen? Right? And it's not one of those where I cannot see it happen. It's not one of those. I'm just very, very skeptical. Can we get into? Yes, we needed to, but can we get into? Yes, Arsenal fans getting their hopes high there that we are gonna get in at least 2 signings, but can we get them over the line? Big questions and very, very big hours to answer them. We won't sign in this window. Adolf says Isak transfer to AFC. Frank Mahesa says at the moment Aston Villa have a better project than Arsenal. When you look at the direction of Villa, then wow, amazing. What is wrong with this Arsenal side? Honestly, Callum Chambers was speaking about it in this transfer. In his interview, and was speaking about the projects, and he said Villa, here you can see what they're trying to do. Beautiful project on the outside. You just feel like it's it's going somewhere. And then he said, for Arsenal, look, I thank Arsene Wenger. He really didn't talk about a project, but honestly, I've already said Villa in terms of quality, how many Villa players get into our side. You could mention a couple of them, and if you look at what they're doing in terms of transfer, if they can get in Bentancur, if they can get in, the likes of Lucas Digne, if they can get in the likes of Philippe Coutinho, it shows you that they're really very, very impressive. So lads, honestly, right about now I'm gonna be logging off. It's frustration. It's pure frustration. I really don't want to frustrate you with all this kind of Arsenal nonsense. That is the update, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Smash a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel, and we will speak very, very soon.